couple of things. In our last session, and we actually handled a lot in the last two previous sessions. But in the last session that just passed, we went through the session of developing a career plan for success in the 21st century, where we looked at self-awareness and how can we be self-aware of ourselves and really understand who we are as individuals, and also the need for skill assessment. So we also looked at how can we be able to set up career development goals, either short or long term. Again, we looked at the possibility of leveraging upon professional networks and also building a brand for ourselves. And again, we looked at the need for continuous development, seeking career advancement and opportunities. And we ended up by looking at the fourth industrial revolution, which is very, very key in this very 21st century, because the fourth industrial revolution is actually where we are advancing, or where we are right now. So some countries are already advancing into the fifth industrial revolution currently. But for us as a country, we are still within the spheres of fourth industrial revolution. And as a matter of fact, I will tell you that we're still in the third industrial revolution. We haven't even advanced fully into the fourth industrial revolution. And so we ended up that today we're going to be looking at the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution, although I just had to just take this off a little bit just to be sure that we focus on some other things that are really, really required. Although I matched all of them, because if I am to focus more on the fourth industrial revolution, I will end up not looking at other skills that are required, because technologies and the fourth industrial revolution really, really focuses on the hard skills. So again, we said that today we're going to be looking at the soft skills that are required for the 21st century. How we're also going to be developing a roadmap, looking at resources. And finally, we are also going to look at how can we be able to leverage on professional networks and also approaching mentors as well. So basically, these are the things we said we're going to be looking at today. And by the grace of God, we will be looking at those things actually today. So let me pull up my screen for today's session. Yeah, so Iman, how are we doing? Are we very clear, or are we having issues?
We are good.
Clear.
Oh, okay. So which of my screens are you seeing? Are you seeing?
I'm seeing career development plan.
Okay, so what else are you seeing on the screen? Are you seeing my picture or just the career development plan?
Yeah, we're seeing your picture.
Just my
Yeah, I've seen the
picture?
picture.
You're seeing my picture and the list of other names?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to take that out because it has always been blocking the screen. Oh, so how about now?
See, we're seeing your picture.
Oh, but is it covering every other thing?
No, it's not, just small by the left-hand side.
Oh, by the left-hand side, right? Okay, that's okay. Yeah. So today we're going to be looking at career development plan and for success in the 21st century. Basically, that's what we're going to be looking at today. So it's like an addendum, it's like a continuation into what we have been doing. But actually the topic is looking at hard and soft skills that we're going to be using for the 21st century. So the objective of our session today is to discover what are your soft skills. And the second one is to discover what are hard skills as well. And again, we're going to be looking at how can we be able to integrate both the hard skills as well as the soft skills. And we're also going to be looking at where can we be able to find resources that are really going to help us. And at the end of the day, we're also going to be concluding with how to link up with our mentors and how can we be able to establish connection with mentors who will mentor us for our career development. So again, I will be looking at some biblical references because, we have really considered the biblical foundations and the spiritual implication of building our career according to biblical principles, where we looked at the spiritual gifts and all of that. So we're not really going to be looking at some biblical context as regards to what we're discussing. But I'm just going to share with us these two passages, which is James chapter 1, verse 5. I'm just going to paraphrase it, which says, if anyone lacks wisdom, he should ask from God. And again, 2 Timothy chapter 3, 16 to 17, which says, all scriptures are God-breathed. So Ima, can please someone read that for us, please? Ima, or if you have your phone or whatever, you can just help us read quickly.
That's James chapter
1, verse 5.
Okay. Sorry, come.
Okay, I actually have it. It says, if anyone lacks wisdom, you should ask God. He gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So again, Ima, you can just open the 2 Timothy chapter 3, 16 to 17, while I explain James chapter 1, verse 5. So basically what I'm saying here is that in whatever career you're trying to build for yourself, or whatever you're trying to do as an individual, there is need for you to always seek the face of God. And so most times we as individuals tend to want to focus on what we have been able to achieve academically or the talents that we have or whatever. Or sometimes we always want to do it ourselves without seeking the face of God. And so what happens is that at the end of the day, we end up not excelling in those areas that we needed to excel. So there is need for us as individuals to always seek the face of God. And especially when we are having challenges in the studies or in whatever career we are trying to build, all you need to do is just seek the face of God, ask him for more wisdom, ask him for more knowledge, and he's going to do that for you. And basically, you can always do that by reading the scriptures, number one, by seeking the face of God through prayer, number two, and by always seeking the guidance and discernment of the Holy Spirit. These are very, very key because it helps you to really, really build a foundation upon on your career, and those foundations that you're building those foundations upon biblical principles. So Ima, can you read 2 Timothy for us?
Okay. It says all scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work.
Okay, so my focus basically is just on two things. Is that when you begin to excel in your career, it becomes very difficult for you to really focus on God. And I will tell you that for a fact that there are a lot of people who started very well and they started their careers from the church. But what happens is that by the time they have grown in their career, or by the time they've grown to a certain level, it becomes very difficult to even find them in church. So one key thing you need to know is that there is need for you to always come back to God. I'm using these two scriptures just to draw our attention to the need for one, seeking God's face, and number two, using the Bible as your guiding principle. So because it says that the scriptures are really God's breathed, and it is used for teaching. One, the scripture is going to teach you how to live a godly life even in the face of wealth, or even when you have grown and become popular in your career. And two, when you're doing a very bad thing, the scripture is really going to rebuke you. Because when you start excelling in your business and you want to start doing dubious things, probably inflicting contract figures, probably doing a couple of other bad things, of course, the scripture is there to rebuke you, because all what you're trying to do in that your business to maximize profit is doing it the wrong way. So what the scripture does is to rebuke you. So you need to always go back to the scriptures. So number three is that the scripture corrects you for who you are. So by the time you always beacon upon the biblical principle, or you go back to the word of God, it will always correct you for all the wrongs that you are doing. And again, it says that the scriptures equips you for every good work, which is the most important key of this series that we've been going through. And the most important thing is that we as individuals want to develop our professional careers according to biblical principles, such that we will be ready to be able to provide good works to all the individuals across the world and the entire society. So these things are very key. And these two scriptures, I just said I needed to start with it so that I will give you some few foundations. But again, there's something very key I also want to draw your attention to. That God has really placed us in this world for us to be able to be influential in various aspects of the society. And the influence we are supposed to assert as individuals are within these very 7 mountains of influence. And so these 7 mountains of influence was coined by Loren Cunningham. That's the founder of YWAM. Some of you must probably know YWAM. Some of you must have had individuals who have gone through YWAM. So it is on the basis of this that YWAM was founded. And of course, he started with education, where he founded the University of Nations. But there is a book written by Brown O'Brien, who really wrote about the 7 mountains of influence that was coined by Loren. So I need you to look for this book. So this book is also similar to The Purpose-Driven Life, but this book actually gives you more insights into how you can be able to play around any sphere of influence. So because these very 7 spheres of influence, or 7 mountains of influence that you're seeing here, are actually what is guiding the entire society right now. So again, the question you might be asking yourself is, why is it important for you to discover your skills as an individual? First thing first, is very key for you to discover your skill, or for you to know the skills that you're good at, because having those skills ensures that you continue to grow and succeed in life. And again, understanding or discovering your skills helps you to align your career choices. So in understanding your career choices, it means that you will know where do you have strengths and where do you have weaknesses. And it also helps you to chart the particular career you want to go into. So because if you don't know the skills that you have, it's going to be very difficult for you to really know which field or which area of career that you're going to go into. Number two, avoiding misplacements. So understanding your skills is very, very key because it helps you to avoid misplacements. Misplacements whereby you have knowledge of how machines work and you go into the field of trying to go and be a comedian. Of course, you probably must have seen people who are very good in various aspects of life, but you see them going to other areas which they don't have any experience, neither do they have any skill there. And they end up fumbling and end up embarrassing themselves. Maximizing your potential. So when you're able to discover your skills, you will maximize your potentials because every strength and knowledge and everything that you have is going to be geared towards excellence. It's going to be geared towards that very field that you have chosen. Enhancing self-efficacy. Because by the time you know what you're doing, by the time you have the strength, by the time you have the knowledge in whatever field you're in, you will see yourself with full boldness. Have you seen somebody who sings very well? Of course, when you see somebody who sings very well, by the time the person is coming to the altar, you will see certain level of boldness, certain level of confidence the person uses to sing. And so that is what understanding and discovering your skills also means. So adapting to change. We're now in the 21st century and technology is rapidly changing a lot of things. Before now, you needed to go to the bank with your check and stand on the queue before you were able to cash money or before you're able to deposit money. But these days, you can just easily go to an OPay person and the person collects your money and deposits it without you going to the bank. Similarly, you can also go to a POS person and just give them your ATM and just do a transfer and you're able to withdraw money. So as technology is evolving, so are the job skill or the job market is also evolving. So the skills that is required for jobs within 2024, by the time you come back by 2026, you will see that you needed to go and learn more things. So for example, tell us how clothes were being sold before is no longer how clothes are being sold now. Definitely tellers need to go to other tellers to go and learn some new skills. Or probably you need to visit some YouTube channels or visit some forums or go online and learn some new styles. And if you don't learn some new styles, the only thing that you will be left with as a tailor is that you will become somebody who they will just be bringing clothes to patch. And so that is what skill discovery means. So if you discover your skills and know where you have very good strength, it helps you to adapt to changes. As changes come, you immediately adapt because you're already good in that. So if we look at Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, which is very, very key, and is also loosely connected to the skills that we're going to be looking at, both hard and soft skills. So Howard Gardner proposed about 8 types of intelligence. Excuse me. So the 8 types of intelligence that Howard Gardner proposed are linguistic intelligence, that is those who can talk, who can write, those who have artistic intelligence. You have logical and mathematical intelligence. You have spatial, musical, body kinetics. That's those who can either run, who can play football, interpersonal intelligence, those who can talk to people, those who can preach, those who can teach. Intrapersonal, those who are a bit quiet, but they also have their own skills. Naturalistic intelligence, those who can really be able to take care of our environment, those who can be able to take care of animals, and a couple of other things. So these 8 intelligences that you're seeing right here, they are the foundation of every skill that we have as individuals. So by the time we go to the next slide, you're going to see it. So, but this intelligence that you're seeing right here is very key. Why? Because by the time you're able to understand the differences in all of these intelligences, it will help you to get into a career, or you provide services that you are very good at, or that you have a lot of smartness in. For instance, let's look at bodily or kinetics. Somebody who is very tall and who is very energetic and can play basketball, by the time you place him in a football pitch, the person is not going to perform. Why? Because the person does not have the kinetic intelligence to be able to play football. Rather, the person has the kinetic intelligence to play basketball. So that's the difference. So again, understanding your intelligence or your level of intelligence helps you as an individual to excel in your chosen career or in the job or whatever services you're providing. Why? Because if you don't understand the type of intelligence that you have, you will be very miserable at the job that you're doing. So imagine if you don't have mathematical or logical intelligence as a teacher and you go and teach mathematics. Are you really going to excel there? It's going to be difficult. Or imagine you as somebody who is very quiet, somebody who is introverted, and you find yourself in a stage and they're asking you to preach and they're asking you to speak to 1,000 people. That is also very difficult, although some of the intelligences can be developed. But when you have certain intelligences naturally, it becomes very easy. So what you're supposed to do as an individual is to find within the strata of occupations, there is different careers, different jobs, different services that are being provided by people. Look for which of these occupations or which career that your intelligence aligns or you can be able to handle. So by the time you're able to do that, it helps you and it becomes very easy for you to be able to hone your skill within that very area. So if you look at this image that you're seeing, you will see that hard skills are the one you're seeing at the top, but soft skills is what is beneath, which means hard skills are things that people see. Soft skills are things that people experience. So hard skills are tangible. Soft skills are intangible. Rather, people just feel the impact of your soft skill. I believe you must have heard this statement that your intelligence or your knowledge can take you to places, but it's your character that will keep you there. So that is just a typical example of the difference between hard and soft skills. So what then are hard skills? Hard skills are specific and teachable abilities that you have that can be quantified or measured. And so sometimes hard skills are always likened to talents that we have. So although they are different, but they complement each other. And sometimes your hard skills and your talents are almost the same. And by the time you put these two together, you will see that you excel in the particular area that you're in. So one thing, discover your talents. Another, discover your intelligence. And also be specific about the skills that you have or you want to develop, because hard skills, as you see here, they are teachable. They are abilities that you can learn. And so hard skills can be learned in academic institutions or vocational institutions. Hard skills can also be learned through training. Like you can go to a catering center and learn how to do catering. You can go to school and learn how to do catering because you can study it as home economics. And again, very, very key, you see that I bolded this part. Hard skills can also be developed. You can learn hard skills by your own self. So you can also learn hard skills through work experience, places that you have worked. And one thing again is that hard skills are easy to evaluate. So if you have a certificate that you have gotten, it means that you've learned that skill. By the time you are able to do, if you learn how to sew as a tailor, if you look at people look at the dresses that you have sewn, they know that yes, you have learned a very hard skill. So these are just few examples of hard skills. So you can see that hard skills are basically the skills or the knowledge that you can acquire, just how I listed it in the last session that we had on fourth industrial revolution. So if you look at this screen or you look at this very image, typically, you will see that there are some skills of the fourth industrial revolution, and there are also skills of emerging technologies. Things like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, software development, cybersecurity, all of those things, data mining, programming, these are all hard skills. And these are things you can also learn. So again, I am not disputing or I'm not downplaying those who are studying certain courses in the university. So some courses that you're studying are also the hard skills that you have. So the knowledge you acquire as a result of going through that course, those are also hard skills that you're acquiring. So don't look at all of these and see them as, oh, these are all computerized or these are all computer related and all of that. No, don't look at them like that. So just look at them as an example of the skills of the emerging technology or the skills of the 21st century. But by the time you look at what I will advise you to do, or what I will advise all of you to do as individuals, is if you're in a particular course, look for how you can integrate some skills of the 21st century into the course that you're studying. Because by the time you're able to integrate those courses into some of these skills into those courses, you will see yourself catapulting yourself into an advanced level. Why? Because some courses that we are studying in Nigeria, some of them are a bit obsolete. Some of them have not really been upgraded. Neither some of them have been phased away. So, although we are still studying those courses, but there are some skills of the 21st century that are required to help in the workforce of the 21st century. So what you need to do is continue studying your course, be very good at it, but again, try to make sure that you look at the skills of the 21st century and how can you be able to integrate the skills of the 21st century into the course that you're studying. And by the time you do that, you will see yourself excelling. Soft skills. So soft skills, I likened it, I actually, when I was studying, by the thought just came in of likening soft skill as spiritual gift and hard skills as the talent. So soft skills are like the interpersonal or people skills that you have. They are non-technical, they are non-tangible. They are not things that you can touch, rather they are things that people will feel. So the soft skills that you have, people feel it. So, like unlike hard skills that are particular for one particular job or one particular industry, soft skills are transferable. So, for instance, the experience that some of you have, or some of the leaders in the youth fellowship, the experience that they are having right now of leadership, they can use those experiences to be able to work in the government or be able to work in the corporate sector. And so for me, as a former leader of the youth fellowship, I will tell you that my idea or my knowledge of leadership grew as a result of being a leader of the youth fellowship, because that was like my second time of having an experience. But within the period of being a leader of the youth fellowship, with the challenges, with the commitments, with all of the achievements and everything, he built my understanding of how to be a leader. And that also helped me when I moved up to the LYC level. So that is what transferability or transferable skills means. It means that you can learn or you can have soft skill in a particular environment, but those soft skills can be transferred to another different place. And so you can see there is actually an overlap of spiritual gifts and soft skills, like empathy, like leadership, like they are all spiritual gifts, and they are also soft skills. So these are skills that you need to have in the 21st century for you to be able to excel. And these soft skills, they are intangible, they are more difficult to develop. It is hard to acquire through training. No type of training that you will do that you will acquire certain types of soft skills. So although you can gain them from previous work experience, but they are also hard to evaluate. Why is it hard to evaluate? People need to notice your soft skill. People need to experience your soft skill. So I know the question that is, or the what is in your mind right now is, what are the soft skills? So these are the soft skills. So one of the examples of soft skills is communication. There are people who are leaders in various places, probably in the youth fellowship, but they don't have the confidence to stand in front of the public to talk. So this is a soft skill that you need to develop. So what of soft skill of teamwork? There are people who, when you put them or when you're working in a committee with them, it becomes very difficult to work with them, or it is very difficult to work with them. Why? Because they want to do I too know, or they want to collect everything and do by themselves, or they want to fight everybody within the committee. Again, soft skills, there are people who, if there is a problem in a particular place, immediately the person comes and start talking and start advising and start bringing suggestion. All the fights that everybody has been fighting will just die down. That is soft skill. But let me relate soft skills to our career development. Of course, I've just been using telos as an example. So, there are telos that are very, very good. But if you give that tailor clothes to sew for you for a wedding on Saturday, my dear, you will be disappointed. We are in March, right? But there are tailors that you will give them clothes by the time you will collect that cloth will be in December. But the tailor is very, very good. In the whole of Jos, probably that's like the best tailor. But by the time you give the person clothes, it becomes very difficult to get your clothes. He will cut your clothes and he will not even sew it. That is lack of time management. And that is also what brings conflict, and that is also what kills people's businesses. So if you're thinking of going into a particular career, these are the skills that you need to develop. Responsibility, how to talk to people, how to negotiate, how to come on time, how to even learn, how to have open-mindedness, how to even think, creative thinking, and all of those things. Work ethics. There are people that if you're working with them, they will come late. Even when they come late, they will be pressing phone. They will not work. They will not do anything. If you talk to them, they will start shouting at you. That is bad work ethics and lack of responsibility. So these are skills that you need to develop. They are soft skills, and they are the things that make you excel. Again, back to the quote that knowledge and experience or expertise might take you places, but it's your character that keeps you there. So you might have the hard skills that will catapult you to a very high level, that in the whole of the city of Jos, you're the best person who is fixing a particular electronics or who is doing one particular job. But if you have bad character, people will run away from you. So that is the linkage or the overlap between hard and soft skills. So you cannot say that you are only going to develop your soft skills without developing your hard skill. And you cannot say I will only have hard skills without developing soft skills. So you need to develop both of them pari passu so that they will work together and they will also help you in moving your career to a greater height. So the question now is, how can we integrate hard skills and soft skills, which is one of our key objectives for today. And the advantage of integrating these hard and soft skills is that it helps our career advancement, and it also helps us to leverage both the technical competencies that we have and also the interpersonal abilities that we have. So your technical competence that you have and the soft skills that you have, you merge them together, you will excel in your career. So how can you be able to do that? I'm just going to run this through quickly. Of course, the PowerPoint is going to be shared with you guys, so you can always take your time to look at it. So first thing first, you need to do a self-assessment. Again, this has repeated itself multiple times. We discussed about that last week. Self-assessment, there is need for you to self-assess yourself. What are your strengths? What are the abilities? What soft skills do you have? What hard skills do you have? By the time you do that, you will be able to identify what role or what position can you be able to go for, or what services can you be able to provide as an individual. Set clear goals. So you need to establish a clear goal of where you want to see yourself at a particular time. And again, you also be setting these clear goals, looking at your strengths and your interests and aspirations. Setting those clear goals does not mean that, okay, let me set clear goal. I want to become a politician by the time I grow up. But what efforts are you making? So do you even have the strength? Do you even have the confidence to bear when you lose election and things like that? So those are things that you need to think of as an individual. I will just run through them. Continuous learning and development. So the fact that you're able to know, the fact that you know how to do something, or the fact that you have been able to develop a particular skill, both hard and soft, does not mean you will remain there. And that is the killer of all careers: lack of development. Some people, they just learn one thing and they will remain there. There are some producers, for instance, there are some producers in JAWS who have just remained in the level of CD, of lack of development, while those that they taught how to do production have moved out of JAWS, gone to Lagos, gone to Abuja, have done major projects and things like that. So that is a typical example of what happens in JAWS. I've been in JAWS, of course, I know that. So there are people who are just comfortable with where they are. So do not allow the spirit of comfort zone pull you into feeling there is no need to develop myself. So when you learn a particular skill, you need to develop yourself. And again, as I reiterate, technology is advancing every day. And as technology is advancing, so are other skills. You need to keep developing yourself. So again, you need to figure out a way of applying what skills that you have learned, because you cannot just stay, because for the fact that you have learned something, but for the fact that you have a particular skill, soft skill, does not mean you will have to stay in one place. No, people get to notice you when you begin to apply your skill. Again, as I said, soft skills are skills that people will notice, are skills that people will feel, right? So basically what you need to do is to find a way of exposing yourself such that people are going to see your skills. Again, one of the areas is to volunteer. If you volunteer, people get to see you, people get to notice you, right? And you also need to seek feedback from people. Again, how do you get feedback from people? Your mentors, people you're working with, they will tell you this is how you are. This is how your level of growth is and things like that. So those are just how areas at which you can be able to test out your skills and your abilities in the real world. So you need to collaborate with people. No man is an island. So in developing your skill, you need to find a way of collaborating. Again, I'm beginning to see a couple of collaborations happen in JOS. I'm beginning to see people who are in the entertainment industry bringing themselves together to collaborate. Again, I'm beginning to see those who are into makeup. I'm beginning to see them collaborate together. I'm beginning to see those who are into various, particularly for those who have been collaborating a while ago, they were artists and they were poets. So they were collaborating together and they were growing. So let me just give you this example, like the movie industry, Nollywood of Nigeria, like in the late 2000s, the actors and actresses of Nigeria and the directors were collaborating with some actors and actresses from Ghana. So they were collaborating such that the Nollywood industry of Nigeria made some actors and actresses of Ghana very popular. But because of greed and certain issues, misconceptions here and there, the actors from Ghana stopped acting in the Nigerian film industry, and some of them just died down completely. You hardly even see them in movies any longer. So collaboration is very, very key. So you need to find a way of collaborating with other people. You need to also work with other people. Don't be a loner. Don't be a one-man gang. If you are a one-man gang, it becomes very difficult for you to even develop certain skills. So you need to demonstrate leadership, take initiative and demonstrate leadership, because by the time you begin to inspire others, by the time you begin to do certain things, that is where you get noticed. That is where you get noticed. So try as much as you can to take initiatives, to be able to work with other people, to be able to showcase your abilities. From there, you will be able to develop other skills. Like, for instance, like if you look at some young pastors, let me just give you an example. Some young pastors that we have within JOS DCC and a couple of other, like the JOS Central DCC that we just have right now, some of these young pastors were members of youth fellowship and they were leaders of youth fellowship. So how did that start? It started from leadership, it started from Bible study, it started from discipleship. And right now it has metamorphosed into the level of becoming even pastors because they've gone through the seminary. So that is what happens when you begin to demonstrate your skill, you begin to demonstrate your ability in whatever career that you want to go into. So don't just sit down, try to take initiative and try to demonstrate those qualities that you have. So this is another killer of a lot of people in JOS, always sitting in their comfort zone, always sitting in their comfort zone. Try to grow. Try to grow. If JOS is saturated with the services that you're offering, leave JOS, leave JOS, leave JOS. Go to somewhere else. There are some things, like, for instance, if you go to the east right now, we have people from Mangu, people from Shandam that are digging wells in the east. You have people from Irigwe, that is people from Miango, that are in the east, that are farmers. Some of them also are doing masons. They are into this building constructions and all of that. And they are making huge amounts of money because they are very good at it. But imagine if they had stayed in JOS, what would have happened? So you need to leave your comfort zone and try to seek other opportunities that will help you to grow. That is what you need to think of. So JOS is a very small city and it is hugely saturated. And again, what is causing the saturation in JAWS is because the communities are divided. So there are certain services that we would have offered the Muslim community, but because we are in conflict with the Muslim community, we are not offering them those services. They also cannot be able to offer us certain services because they are also in their own community. So it made JAWS very small. So for us to grow as individuals, try to leave your comfort zone and go to other places so that you can be able to see what is available in those areas. Again, track your progress. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you're also tracking your progress and checking your milestone. If you're tracking your progress, you will know if you're doing well or not doing well. Then you can revert back and find a way of fixing all of the areas that you're having challenges. So I'm just going to run through this very quickly. Where do we find resources? So for career advancement and development, you find resources everywhere. So the internet has made it very easy. Data consumption or data is quite cheap. It's just that our internet connection is not fast, but data in Nigeria is one of the cheapest even across the world. So instead of using your data to just watch endless videos on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok, why not use it to study? Why not use it to advance yourself? Again, you see that I used YouTube up to 4 times. YouTube is like the biggest free university across the globe. There is absolutely nothing that you want to learn. There is absolutely nothing that you want to learn on this planet Earth that you cannot find on YouTube. Again, there are other websites, again, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy. These places, they offer different types of hard skills and soft skills, so you can learn all of them. So if you like a particular industry or you like a particular career or you aspire to be in a particular career, search for them on Google. Another very important tool for you is Google. Make Google your friend. First thing first, search for any information you want. Just search for it. If you don't get the information directly, you will get somebody who will point you to that very information. Thirdly, you need to join professional associations. Don't always sit down on your own. If you're learning a particular skill and you hear that, okay, people of this very particular skill are having meeting or are having a session somewhere, just go there and join them. From there, you will connect with people and you will even connect with someone who is going to mentor you. So mentorship session is very, very key. Try to look for a mentor. Try to look for someone who is going to help you. So one of the very important areas that will help you to really, really, really hone your skill very well is books and publications. But for us as Africans, they said if you want to hide a thing from a black man, you should put it in a book. So I want us to dissuade ourselves from that very notion that we don't like reading. You can start reading, actually starts gradually. Nobody likes reading because reading is stressful. But you learn to read when you start reading at least few pages per day, few chapters per day. And before you know, you have really, really grown. And books are actually where you will find concrete information about any career that you want to develop yourself in. I tell you the truth. There are also publications. Publications, of course, they are peer-reviewed journals. They are peer-reviewed publications that people use in order to develop themselves. So look for somebody to teach you, because mentorship is done usually free, but career coaching and counseling services, you have to pay the person. But that person will teach you. Mentors guide, mentors direct, mentors point you to the right direction, while coaches teach and they offer support and they help you in your career path. And again, where do you find coaches and where do you find mentors? You find them in networking events. So when you hear there is a workshop somewhere about a particular skill or career you're into or you need, go there. There are certain free webinars, there are certain free workshops. You can just search them online, right? Just search them online and you'll be able to see either of them. Register. And if you don't have the money, some of them even offer scholarships, some of them even offer grants. So by the time you apply and say, I am a student, I am indigent, I don't have money, I'm this and that, they will pay your flight, even pay your hotel for you to fly and go and attend the webinar or seminar. So there you also meet people. So again, which is the last, is how do you establish a relationship with mentors or establish relationship with mentors? So establishing relationship with mentors is quite difficult, but it's also easy at the same time. It is difficult because some mentors have had very bad experience with young people, so it has become very difficult for them to be able to mentor young people. So for you to be able to have a mentor and to establish a very good relationship with the mentor, first thing you need to initiate communication. You cannot sit down, mentors don't come and meet you. You have to initiate, try to get the mentor's phone number, try to either get the mentor's email address, or try to get a friend, or try to look for somebody or your pastor or anyone who is close to you that will help you establish your connection with the mentor or introduce you to the mentor. Secondly, you need to clarify expectations. So not because your mentor is rich and you just wake up and you go and start asking your mentor money. No, it doesn't work that way. It starts with, what exactly do you need from the mentor? If you need the mentor to teach you about something, you need to tell the mentor, this is exactly what I want you to teach me. So clarify the expectation so that the mentor will know ahead of time. So if the mentor decides to start dashing you money and start giving you gifts, that is okay. It is the mentor's prerogative to do that. I don't know. I hope the Zoom participants are not blocking the slide.
No, it's clear.
Or it's just showing the slides, right?
Yes, only the slides.
Oh, okay. So thirdly, Ima, I know you came to warn me because of time. I'm rounding up. This is the last slide. So thirdly, be prepared and organized. So sometimes this is one of the key things that mentors hate. When you come unprepared. If you're coming to a mentor, come very, very prepared. Don't come to the mentor unprepared without having questions and you come disorganized. So when you and your mentor have established connection, try to engage the mentor actively. Not if the mentor gives you assignments, you run away until after 6 months before you come back. Of course, the mentor will see you as an unserious person. So try to also follow through with assignments and deadlines or whatever the mentor has given you. So if the mentor gives you an assignment, do the assignment and return back very quickly. It shows seriousness. And again, if the mentor is helping you, try to show appreciation, because that is what you keep seeing people complain about online. I help these children, or I help this girl, before you know, and the girl is not even grateful and things like that. I help this person, I'm the one that helped this person to get to this level. And by the time the person gets to that level, the person even starts fighting you back. That is very, very bad. And that is also what is making people not even think of mentoring others. So seek feedback. Always ask your mentor, are you doing the right thing? And also try to seek feedback from other people as well. So maintain regular communication. And also respect boundaries. As a female, if your mentor is a male, try to respect your boundaries. And as a male, if your mentor is a female and you're beginning to notice some kind things, respect boundaries. You as an individual also respect boundaries, because mentorship is somewhat like the person absorbing you into his own self. So sometimes some mentors even go to the extent of bringing you into their family. So if they bring you into their family as a young guy, don't go and start dating your mentor's daughter because she is fine and because they have given you free access to their house. Sometimes somebody brings a mentor or a mentee. A mentor brings a mentee into his house. The mentee ends up stealing things and running away. So as you grow as an individual and as you grow in your communication with your mentor, always reflect and always evaluate your progress. So if your mentor is really not helping you, there is nothing bad in you changing the mentor and looking for someone else. And one of the things that is also not listed here is that there is also need for you to get mentors on different spheres of influence. Initially, we listed the 7 spheres of influence where you saw entertainment, family, and spirituality and all of that, or religion. So as you grow as an individual, try to make sure that you get mentors on various aspects of your life. You can get a mentor who is going to be mentoring you in terms of your spirituality, and you get a mentor who is mentoring you in terms of your academic career. You get a mentor who is mentoring you in terms of your career and in terms of the businesses you want to go into. So in that case, which means when you have a problem about this certain thing, you go to this mentor and say, I'm having this problem about this. The mentor helps you in that very area. You're having problem in your family with your wife or with anyone, or you're having issues with your spiritual life, you go to your mentor who is looking after you in terms of your spirituality, and the mentor also guides you. So that is how you grow as an individual. So again, back to where we started, where I talked about the spheres of influence. It's very key for you as an individual to be sure that whatever you're doing, that you maintain yourself to the level of playing within these levels of influence. So be sure that you find yourself within the strata where you are providing services. And again, not just providing services, you're also making impact in the body of Christ. So brethren, I'm going to stop here because we do not have time. And I don't know if, Ima, I don't know if they had questions. I know I've taken a lot of time. This is like an hour. I had to rush this because it needed to be rushed, and today also is our last day.
Okay. We have questions. We have questions. Okay, it seems they don't have questions.
Wow, they always don't have questions. Is it that it's self-explanatory or what?
Okay, that's the question. See that self-explanatory or what? Huh? Okay, that you made everything clear.
Oh, I made everything clear. No, that's not right. Jason is raising his hand. Jason, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, evening.
All right. Thank you so much for taking us in depth with everything that has to do with acquiring skills, spirituality, and mentorship. I just wanted to ask regarding mentorship. I wish that we would have a session that had to do with identifying mentors. But I wanted to ask if you can just say briefly if you can advise on how to be able to identify mentors for a particular skill. I know you've mentioned going for webinars and things like that, and those are areas where you might be able to get mentors for skills. But if there are other areas where you can advise, where you can advise us to get mentors for some of the skills that we are planning to acquire.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there are you can actually do it physically or virtually. And this is it. Physically, I mean when the person whom you want to mentor you or the mentor you're looking up to is someone who doesn't have virtual, that is online presence. So what you need to do is to go to the person physically or go to the person's physical location. But if the person has an online presence, I know it's difficult reaching out to people online via their DMs and all of that. Very, very key. Try to figure out how to get the person's official email address or try to get the person's email address. So probably I think we might just think of Jason maybe will work with the leadership and figure out a time where we'll look at the area of mentorship holistically. But
All right, sir.
in the area of skill that you want to develop as an individual, that area of skill you want to develop, try to look for or use your Google, search for all the people who are captains of industries in that very area of skill you want to develop. Sometimes there are people
Okay.
who are called thought leaders. They are like the best of the best in that very field.
Yeah.
What you need to do is get their names, put down their names, either through their social media, start tagging them, start following them, and again, start commenting in places that they have posted. Or if there are people that you know personally, you can go and meet them personally. If you don't know
Right.
them personally, or you don't have any personal contact, or you are afraid or shy to go and meet them, look for who is their closest friend, or look for an elder, or look for a pastor who will help you connect you with that individual. So all you need to do is approach an elder or approach a pastor and say, Pastor, I need you to introduce me to so and so person. I want him to mentor me in so and so. But again,
Right.
before you approach any of your mentors or any of your proposed mentors, you also need to have a clear expectation. What do you want the mentor to mentor you on? Such that when you're reaching out to the mentor, you will say, sir, I have been following you in so and so. I am inspired by so and so thing that you're doing. I want to learn so and so. Or I want you to guide me in so and so. Or again, you can start with defining your problem and you will say, sir, I am in the field of this and this and this. I am having problems in this and this. Please, from your experience, I want you to share your thoughts on how I can be able to navigate this. So in doing so, you have, one, shown your mentor that you know the mentor very well. That is number one. That is if you're if you're reaching out to the mentor directly without stating your problem. It shows that, yes, you have known the mentor. So you need to also do a background check on your mentor, which is very, very key. So it's that background check of your mentor that you're doing that will tell you everything about your mentor. So again, try to do a very huge background check. Try to study the news. Try to read articles. Try to read social media platforms so that you also know that your mentor does not have any scandal. So there are some mentors that you see them, physically they are okay, but their moral life is not very, very okay. In the sense that by the time you go to learn a particular skill from them, or to learn something, or to ask them to mentor you, they just turn you into something else. So today we are able to experience Christ. Today we are able to have the gospel. Today the gospel is in our hands, and we have heard the gospel because of the mentorship, or the mentorship, I would say the mentorship characters, or the mentorship activities that Jesus carried out with the disciples and the apostles. So if Jesus didn't really mentor them very well, or if Jesus was not an exemplary mentor to all of them, the gospel would have died immediately Jesus was crucified and immediately Jesus ascended into heaven.
Yeah.
But it continued because the characteristics of Jesus was worthy of emulation. So if you're trying to look for a mentor, also look for a mentor that you are able to emulate. For example, I'll give you an example. A typical example is Apostle Arome. Apostle Arome, who is like the mentor of Theophilus Sunday. If you look at Theophilus Sunday, you will see that Theophilus Sunday's mouth is shifting one side, just like Apostle Arome Osai. That is how mentorship is. So mentorship is about influence. Mentorship is about influence. And again, you also need to be careful as an individual, because if there are certain mentors you will go to develop you and develop your career, and you end up destroying yourself. So be careful how you choose a mentor. Although maybe if the leadership prepares a particular session, it's just going to be one session. So we'll look at mentorship and look at examples of how to even email, how to reach out to mentors directly.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, somebody has a question here. He said, it is said that you can't serve two masters at the same time, and you made mention of getting different mentors. Can you share more light on that? Okay, so yes, yeah, you can't serve two masters at a time, but definitely nobody is like jack of all trade, right? So if you say you want to follow one particular mentor, like maybe your mentor is your pastor. Your pastor does not have experience in terms of business. Your pastor does not have experience in terms of business. Your pastor does not have experience in terms of the career choice that you're making, right? So your pastor probably does not also have experience in terms of, or in the areas that you want to develop yourself as an individual, or your career path. So probably the only thing that your pastor can do is to serve as your spiritual father, who will disciple you in terms of spirituality and in terms of godliness. But your pastor can't serve you, your pastor can't mentor you in terms of your career development. And so that it becomes imperative that you go seek out another mentor in the choosing career path that you want to go into. So that is why you need different mentors at different particular times. And as you grow as a person, as the strata of development, or as your strata of occupation continues to grow, you need to also get mentors. For instance, like me right now, if I need a mentor in terms of the educational path that I am in, I need to go start looking for a professor in the particular field that I want to go into. And so that is how I grow. So if I want to delve into business, I also have to start looking for bank managers, people who are venture capitalists, people who have opened companies, and tell them, please, I want you to mentor me. So I want you to just, maybe for some of you, if you're on link, I want you to Google Tony Elumelu and his mentee. There is a young man, and there is a process the young man followed until he got to the level that Tony Elumelu noticed the young man and even paid his flight ticket The young man dresses like Tony Elumelu. Right now, I think he's probably working with UBA right now. So that is how you draw the attention of your mentor. So if you want to draw the attention of a mentor to you, you also need to follow the mentor, comment on the mentor's post, appreciate the mentor, ask mentor questions on his timeline on social media and all of that. So Magit. Yeah, Luca.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, sir. Wow, it's good hearing from you and seeing you after a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I actually raised my hand in respect to something. You shed a little bit more light on it. Is as regard the question that you are actually hitting on. It is said that you can't serve two masters at the same time, and you made mention of getting different mentors. Can you share more light on that? But you've actually addressed it. I just wanted to add a thing or two to the person who actually asked that question, setting an example with myself. Now, for example, the first mentor I had in life is actually from a Christian angle, and that actually sharpened my spiritual life, which was actually very beautiful.
Yeah.
But now, in pursuit of my career, okay, not just being a nurse, but now trying to get to another realm of medicine, changing values, looking at other places, definitely I need to change mentors. Yes, that person actually did a good thing by raising me in knowing Christ and then observing the right things to do, growing up perfectly, and it has helped my spiritual life. And I have grown to actually not just be the man, but also occupy spaces and official places he occupied while a leader in the youth fellowship, you know. And then at a point in time, growing in my career, I needed to change mentors, starting from my own basic career, okay, then to other people that I look up to. And it has really developed me in such a way that I have grown beyond measures, and I carry understanding that 4 different things you have. It's not a master of all trade. It is understanding and growth as it is. And it's very important that at a point in time, when you have reached that place that you need another person, you do that so that you would grow. And like you stated that, you know, look at some of those mentors. Really, you need to checkmate every mentor that you are actually reaching out to. Honestly, it's important. You actually become most of those people without even knowing. So it's good that in your spiritual life, look for people that will nurture you. In your career, look for others. You know, as you grow, like you just mentioned, now you are going into your PhD. You cannot actually retain some of the mentors you had back then. No, it's not possible.
Yeah.
So you need to grow, you need to expand, and then you do that. Thank you so much, sir, for this time. It's amazing actually having you around and listening to you. It's great. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think that's all right.
All right, your other question.
No, he slept.
All right, so, brother,